Oklahoma caps spending on school administration, 8% of the budget for the smallest districts and 5% for the largest. The State Department of Education is fining Ferris schools for exceeding the cap. Consolidating schools curbs administrative costs, but consolidation of districts rarely happens. A few districts are starting to embrace a different type of consolidation, administrative consolidation, a practice that allows two school districts to share a single superintendent.
Graham Public Schools is a rural district in Okfuskee County. It draws preschool through 12th grade students from Waleetka, Dustin, Henrietta, and a few farm families. Enrollment hovered around 200 students in the 1990s, but has dwindled since 2000. Superintendent Dusty Chancey says the drop reflects a change in where Oklahomans live.
If you go back to the census from 2000 for the state of Oklahoma, urban area was 43% of the population and the rural area was 57% of the population. Most current census, those have flipped. To keep his district's enrollment up, Chancey says it had to offer students new opportunities. In 2007, we started having a 9 through 12 virtual school, virtual high school, and that kept our enrollment at around 200 to 225 students, majority of them in high school. A year ago, we started sponsoring a charter school, Epic Charter Schools, and we receive part of their state aid for being their public school sponsor. So that's kept us financially afloat.
4 miles up Highway 84 in Hughes County, Dustin Public Schools also has plummeting enrollment. There were 120 K-12 students 4 years ago, just 52 kindergarten through 8th grade students this year.
That's 6.5%.
2 girls make up this year's entire 8th grade class. Last year, the district eliminated its high school because it had so few students. There was a fear the district's dwindling enrollment would result in these students being the last to walk Dustin's hallways.
You hear so many of these small schools around our state shutting down, like Boynton and Boley and some of these others.
Dustin Superintendent Joe Cummings says to keep both schools open and preserve Dustin's sense of community, patrons of the Dustin and Graham school districts voted overwhelmingly to consolidate.
It was 126 to 14 in favor of the consolidation.
Some people thought their taxes would be raised, and that's not the case on a consolidation. You get some funding from the lottery consolidation fund from the state.
How much?
$5,000 per student combined enrollment.
Just before the creek road went down into the bottom.
Parents and patrons focused on consolidation's positives, such as offering students more types of classes and athletic opportunities in the upper grades, and having at least one teacher per grade level in the elementary school. The new district will have its pre-K through 4th grade students at the Dustin campus, while middle and high school students will attend Graham.
Just to see the school stick around, I was all for it.
Chad Polson is a graduate of Dustin High. He teaches high school math now at Graham.
I think a lot of them knew what had to be done. They knew that this was going to be the only option for Dustin to stick around if they did consolidate.
We have 500 some school districts in Oklahoma, many of them like yours with a few dozen to a couple of hundred kids. Is this the future for small, rural Oklahoma schools?
Unfortunately, I think so.
Consolidation isn't appealing to most districts. Graham and Dustin are the only districts to fully consolidate in Oklahoma in the past 5 years. However, 8 other districts are taking a different approach. They've opted for administrative consolidation, which is where 2 districts share a single superintendent, but nothing else.
When it's administrative consolidation, the only consolidation part of that is the superintendent, not the schools. They're still 2 separate individual districts. They still receive their finance from each individually, just like they did before.
When districts choose administrative consolidation, the State Department of Education will pay up to half the shared superintendent's salary for as many as 3 years, as long as the total doesn't exceed $150,000.
Does it look right? Does it sound right? Does it make sense?
Correct. Spavinaw Public Schools has less than 100 students. It was on the verge of closing because of low enrollment and the financial squeeze brought on by years of education budget cuts. Rather than shut down, Spavinaw's school board chose to share a superintendent with Osage Schools.
We did this 2 years ago, and so we did the first year of the consolidation with no help from anyone. Just the districts took care of it. Then, of course, the law came into effect that allowed us to apply for the district consolidation administration funds, which we did this year, which naturally helps cost-wise.
To run 2 separate districts, Superintendent Larry Larman keeps 2 sets of just about everything and splits his time between the districts.
One of the difficulties is staying in contact with both schools. So I actually have a cell phone for Spavinaw, I have a cell phone for Osage.
Larman says for administrative sharing to work, both districts have to have strong site personnel and school boards that are willing to help each other.
So it's going to be convex lens.
Science teacher Tana Mibb thinks sharing a superintendent has worked out well for Osage and Spavinaw schools. But she says one thing it's achieved is more important than anything else.
We're able to stay open, and it affects all of the children in many ways. It's more one-on-one opportunity to be able to be with the child. And I think it's a great opportunity for both schools.